One of my favorite mom clients I've ever worked with had asked me to come over, initially to help with the clutter in her kids' rooms, which then trickled out into the hallways and bathrooms. As much as she claimed it was a total disaster, the state of her home was really quite lovely. Yes, there were areas that needed some extra organization due to shared boys' rooms and a preteen who needed her own space fit for a young girl with plenty of style. And there was the garage that had become a storage spot for unused items and needed a good purge, plus some new division of the space for crafting and parking cars. It was nothing compared to some of the messy places I had organized, though. I was thrilled to get to work and simultaneously work in some girl talk. After getting an idea of her three E's, we immediately started purging some of the clutter in those areas. We created a bin for all of the fun costumes her boys love to still use. We installed some cute floating shelves over their dresser to proudly display their mini sports trophies and a sculpture made while traveling abroad. I even found a beautiful frame to display a sweet poem she had that became the perfect addition to the boys' room. It was coming together nicely, and the boys seemed to approve too, which is always the goal of mine. One day, when we were elbow deep in her boys' Legos, she casually mentioned that this was just a small amount of them, and I wouldn't believe how many were in her primary bedroom. I'm sorry, in the what bedroom? She reluctantly, but also hopefully, led me to her bedroom and pointed toward the back corner, which had a cozy white overstuffed lounge chair where you could spend hours sitting and reading your favorite book, surrounded by huge tubs of multicolored Legos. It didn't stop there. The Lego masterpieces created by her littles, with an assist from her husband, lined the long dresser top alongside mini plastic organizing bins filled with, you guessed it, tiny individual Legos of every shape and size. More works of Lego art sat on the floor below the dresser, and one very creative Lego Ninja Warrior stood atop the nightstand, perhaps to ward off romance or rest of any kind. When our kids and all the stuff that goes along with having them are a part of our lives in every way, it's so easy to let them take over every area of our home too. And every conversation we're having with our spouse on date night when we were supposed to be having a break from them. This certainly happened to my awesome client's bedroom. Now, it's totally okay to have a first grader's backpack in your kitchen, some kids' laundry waiting to be folded in your living room, a baby bottle on your nightstand, and bathtub toys in the bathroom sink occasionally. You're allowed to have sweet reminders of their amazing presence in your home, even when they're not in that particular room. However, when their items are being left behind for weeks at a time in places they don't belong and in abundance, it may be time for you to reclaim your space, babe. Sure, that seems simple enough, right? Just take their stuff and put it back in the proper place. What if you never designated a proper place for it, though? What if the reason it's out is because there is an overflow of that same item in other rooms of the house, i.e., Legos in the bedroom, and you are a year behind on an already overdue purge? What if you never really instilled the importance of returning said items to their rightful spot, and now there are no rules or boundaries in place for this happening over and over again? No worries, all hope is not lost. There's still time to make changes and preserve the status of your sacred space.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.